They said I was too unprofessional to work there. One cigarette break cost me my job, but it cost them $400,000 and 3 careers. I'm about to show you how I turned getting fired into the payday of a lifetime, and why my ex-boss will never underestimate a smoker again. If you ever fantasize about serving ice-cold justice to a boss who wronged you, smash that like button right now, hit subscribe, and buckle up for one of the most satisfying workplace revenge stories you'll ever hear. Trust me, the ending will give you chills. Let me take you back to the early 2010s. YouTube was still relatively new, and companies were just starting to realize the power of video content. I had just landed what seemed like a dream job as a content creator for a prestigious university. They wanted to leverage YouTube for their branding campaign, and I was going to be their guy. The salary wasn't amazing, about $2,200 a month, but I was passionate about video creation, and this felt like my big break. Little did I know, I was walking into what would become the most challenging and ultimately rewarding experience of my career. On my second day, I'll never forget the moment my manager, let's call her Sarah, walked into my cramped office with a manila folder and that fake corporate smile plastered across her face. She slid the folder across my desk like she was dealing cards in Vegas. "Here are your KPIs," she said cheerfully. 85 videos, 3 to 10 minutes each, completed within 52 weeks. I stared at the paper, my stomach dropping. 85 videos? In 1 year? As a one-man team? You have to understand, this was 2010. Video editing software was clunky, rendering took forever, and the whole process from concept to upload could take weeks for a single video. I wasn't just expected to be the creative director. I had to write scripts, cast talent, shoot footage, compose original music because they were too cheap for royalty-free subscriptions, and edit everything myself. And here's the kicker. Their equipment was ancient. The cameras couldn't handle anything above 480p without overheating. And their computers would crash if you tried to edit more than 5 minutes of footage. I had to use my own equipment, my own software, essentially running a production company out of my personal resources while getting paid peanuts. I took a deep breath and looked up at Sarah. This seems like a lot for one person. Maybe we could discuss adjusting the timeline or bringing in additional help. Her smile never wavered. "Oh, don't worry about the numbers," she said, waving her hand dismissively. "Just focus on making quality content. If the videos are good, quantity won't be what I focus on." Those words would come back to haunt her. For the first month, everything seemed fine. Sarah was supportive, even complimentary about my work. The videos I was producing were getting the highest view counts in the university's YouTube history. Students were engaging, sharing, commenting. It was exactly what they wanted. Then came the day that changed everything. I was taking my usual smoke break behind the building when a colleague, let's call her Jenny, approached me with this look of absolute horror on her face. "Please tell me you didn't just light up a cigarette in front of Sarah," she said. "Yeah, why?" I replied, not thinking much of it. Jenny literally face-bombed. "Dude, Sarah hates smokers. Like, pathologically hates them. She's gotten 3 people fired in the past 2 years just for smoking. She thinks it's unprofessional and disgusting." My blood ran cold. "You're kidding." "I wish I was. You might want to start looking for a new job." Jenny wasn't exaggerating. The very next day, Sarah's entire demeanor toward me shifted like someone had flipped a switch. The warm smiles were replaced with cold stares. The encouraging words became nitpicking criticisms. Suddenly, everything I did was wrong. I smelled like cigarette smoke after breaks, even though I always wash my hands and use mouthwash. I was 5 minutes late one morning, despite working 4 hours of unpaid overtime every single day. I wasn't answering my phone during my lunch break because, it was my break, but I pushed through. I was determined to prove myself through my work. I was putting in 60-hour weeks, working 6 days straight, pouring my heart and soul into these videos. And they were performing incredibly well. The university's YouTube channel was growing faster than it ever had. 5 months in, I got the call that would change everything. Can you come to the director's office? Sarah needs to speak with you. I walked down the hallway feeling like I was heading to my own execution. When I opened the door, there was Sarah, sitting next to the director with this expression I'll never forget. She looked disappointed but gleeful, like she was trying to hide her excitement behind a mask of professional concern. The director, a stern woman in her 50s, didn't waste time with pleasantries. "I'm disappointed," she began. "Sarah tells me you're falling behind on your work. We're halfway through the year, and you've only completed 30 out of your 85 videos." My heart was pounding. "Ma'am, with all due respect, I've been working 60-hour weeks. The videos I produce have gotten the highest engagement in the university's history. And Sarah herself told me that quality was more important than quantity." I looked at Sarah, hoping she'd back me up. Instead, she just shrugged. "The KPI is 85 videos," the director continued. "Since we're almost halfway through the year, and you're not even at half your target, we've decided to terminate your employment effective immediately." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. "How are you going to meet the KPI if you fire me now?" Sarah actually snorted, and said, "We'll find a professional production house to finish your work." The director gave Sarah an odd look, but nodded. "Don't worry about the project. Sarah will get the job done." That's when the light bulb went off. You see, part of my job had been maintaining a database of production companies for larger shoots. I knew Sarah had zero contacts in the video production industry. She'd have to use my database, and I still had access to it. That night, I went home and systematically changed every single contact number and email address in that database. Every single one, except one. I had a friend, let's call him Mike, who worked as a junior director at a mid-sized production house. I called him up and explained my situation. "Mike, I've got a proposition for you. How would you like to fast-track your career to full director and bring in a 6-figure contract to your company?" Mike was intrigued. I explained my plan. I would give him the inside scoop on exactly what the university wanted, how to pitch to them, what their style preferences were, everything. In return, his company would pay me a standard finder's fee of 15% of the total contract value. Within 2 days, Mike's company was the only one that responded to Sarah's inquiries. Funny how that worked out. I spent hours coaching Mike on the pitch. I told him about the university's brand guidelines, their target audience, the type of content that had performed well, even the director's personal preferences. By the time he walked into that meeting, he knew more about their needs than Sarah did. The pitch was flawless. Mike's team presented concepts that seemed tailor-made for the university. They understood the brand, the audience, the vision. It was like they could read minds. Sarah and the director were amazed. They signed the contract on the spot. Now, here's where the math gets beautiful. Back in 2010, professional video production wasn't cheap. Each video required a full crew: producer, director of photography, sound engineer, editor, assistants. We're talking about double or triple my monthly salary per video. But they were fast. With a full team, they could pump out a video every 2 to 3 days. So let's do the math. 55 videos remaining at roughly $6,000 to $9,000 per video over 4 months. The total contract? Just over $400,000. My 15% finder's fee? About $60,000. That's more than 2.5 years of my old salary. Paid out over 4 months. I used that money to take a dream vacation to Bali and enroll in a prestigious film school overseas. I thought my revenge was complete. I'd gotten paid, advanced my career, and shown Sarah that her professional production house cost 20 times more than keeping me would have. But the universe wasn't done with Sarah yet. I was sipping a cocktail on a beach in Bali when my phone rang. It was Jenny, my old colleague, and she was practically hyperventilating with excitement. "You're not going to believe this," she said. Sarah got fired, and the director got absolutely destroyed by the chancellor. Apparently, the content creation project had been allocated a budget of about $40,000, roughly 1.5 times my annual salary. Sarah had just blown through $400,000 without getting approval from anyone above the director. When the chancellor found out that a simple content creation project had cost the university 10 times its allocated budget, heads rolled. Sarah was terminated immediately for gross financial mismanagement. The director received a formal reprimand and was essentially demoted. The best part? Sarah had been so desperate to prove she could complete the project without me that she'd approved every expense without question. She was so focused on showing everyone that she didn't need her unprofessional smoker employee that she bankrupted her own department. Meanwhile, I was living my best life in Bali, with enough money to pursue my dream education, and a friend who'd just gotten promoted to full director thanks to the massive contract I'd helped him land. The woman who fired me for smoking cigarettes had just learned the most expensive lesson of her career. Sometimes the person you underestimate is the one holding all the cards. You know, they say revenge is a dish best served cold. But sometimes, the most satisfying revenge is simply letting someone's own arrogance and prejudice destroy them while you profit from their downfall. If this story gave you the same satisfaction it gave me to live through, smash that like button and let me know in the comments. What's the most epic workplace revenge you've ever witnessed? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of justice served ice cold. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.